All right, y'all. So I've been seeing this post make its rounds on social media again for some reason. It makes its rounds every year for like the last 2 or 3 years. But I want to know, in you guys' opinion, for anybody who's been bullied, and I'm gonna assume that 90% of y'all have, along with myself. At what point do we let it go? What point do we let the past be the past? At what point do we let that hurt of being bullying go? I ain't gonna lie, I've been a victim of it, but there's two kinds of bullying. There's the physical bullying, and then there's the mental, emotional, verbal bullying. I'm assuming that most of y'all have been through that too. And also, what makes bullying hurt the most is sometimes it comes from the people we trust. And I even made this video a couple of years ago titled "Did Bullying Toughen You Up?" And there was some people who genuinely felt like that bullying helped toughen them up and help them build character for the real world. Now, I will say some of it can be good or some of it can help you, but a lot of times, like the damage that it does, it sticks with us. Like it leaves a scar that a lot of people never heal from. But the thing is, it's like some people have tougher skin than others. Some people are easier to break than others. And that's the problem, is that if people know that there's something about you that you're insecure about, they will pick at it because they know that they're going to get a reaction from you. And you can even take it back to the playground days. And I don't know how many of y'all have been incarcerated, but they do it there too, but just to a higher degree. It's called a G check or heart check, testing your G, testing your gangster, whatever. Like, there's people who will purposely antagonize you just to see if you fight back or to see if you're going to punk out. And especially in school. School is actually kind of when I got it the worst, because there's people who will clown you for anything. They will find a reason to clown you. And me, I was an easy target. I'll never forget when I got it the worst is, and I just so happened to be wearing a blue shirt and white shorts that day. And then there was some kid who's a dickhead who I ain't going to say his name or whatever. But then he was like, "Hey, yo, look at the Smurf." The whole class busted out laughing. And I tried to laugh along with it just to kind of soften the blow. But really, my feelings was hurt. And I'm like, I said this to myself in my head. I'm like, damn, man, like I didn't have no clever comeback for it. So y'all know what I did, and this is out of my own paranoia. I had a contingency plan for that, like just in case a roast session kicked off or people was clowning, John, or whatever you want to call it, back then. Is I had jokes written for everybody, even my own friends and family. I had jokes ready for everybody just in case they wanted to try to clown or roast me. That way it's like I can clap back at them with no hesitation. But one problem that I have with that, and I still kind of have that problem to this day, is like if I feel like somebody trying to come at my neck, especially if I didn't do anything to them, I take it a step too far. They'll be like, "Oh man, look at your teeth. Look at your bummy shoes. Look at your dingy white t-shirt." And then I'll take it a step further and be like, "Oh yeah, but that's why your granddad got cancer." Or, "Oh, that's why your mama cheating on your dad and she ain't tell you yet." And then people will want to try to fight you and stuff like that. So I had to be ready for that too. But it's just that some people cope and deal with it different. I mean, if it's not physical, like some people will clap back, some people will run to the corner and cry, some people will look at you like you're a clown and just feel like who the hell is this dude talking to? Like, what is he talking? Like, they will feel like if you try to joke or clown on them, they will ignore you because they think that you're beneath them. And most people should have that attitude, especially if they got tough skin. But yeah, there's some people who I know to this day who still carry that bullying trauma with them from their childhood into their adult lives. And that's the reason why a lot of them are still so self-conscious and insecure about things they don't have any control over. It's like, if you were bullied when you were 12, but now you're 33 and you're still self-conscious about the way you look, it's like, there's people who will still love you for who you are. And the people who don't, screw them. Like, if they just there to bring you down, they don't need to be in your lives, period. And it sucks because I actually know some people who I grew up with, they always feel like that they had to fight or they always had to clap back, especially if the bullying was unwarranted. Now, if you started, then guess what? I ain't got no mercy for you. But I see that's the reason why, because a lot of people felt like that it's easy to bully them or it's easy to try to clown and make fun of them because that's an easy target. I know they're not going to fight back. And then a lot of people wonder why those children, it's children more days where the self-deletion rate is higher than ever because they can't take the bullying. And it ain't about being soft. It ain't about being too inconsiderate. It ain't about none of that. It's about being, mindful of people because not everybody takes clowning and joking the way you do. Some people might take it personal. Some people might laugh it off with you. You just got to be mindful that not everybody plays like that. And thanks to social media, bullying in the adult life has kind of made it worse because, there could be a whole rumor started about you that you don't know nothing about. And then the people who are in a completely different area code or state or whatever, they'll take that and run with it just because somebody said something about you on social media. And whether it's true or not, that should just be between you and whatever person because people take things and then they blow them out of proportion. And that can also eat at somebody's insecurities. And I would say, me personally, today, in my 30s, like, I done took my lumps, I done took my share of, clowning and roasting, whatever you want to call it. And I kind of have built up a immunity to it. It's like, I didn't dealt with it so much at the point where I'm kind of numb to it. I think that's kind of like the wrong way to, to kind of build up a tolerance to it to where you're numb. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if people talking crap about you or trying to make fun of you, yada yada yada, then that's not making their bank accounts bigger. That's not getting them in better shape. That's not getting their minds right. That ain't getting them right spiritually. That and the fact that I know that ain't nobody gonna try to touch me or to try to test my ass physically because they can f around and find out if they want to. But anyway, guys, I really could go on and on about this all day long. But whether it's in your childhood life, how do you feel like that bullying affected you today? Do you still carry some of that trauma and insecurities with you, or have you just learned to cope and deal with it better? Like, at what point do we just let that hurt go? Peace.